crime friends. We clutch our pearls and laugh again. We all gather round. Kathy has a story to tell, our favorite comedian. Heifer, please, I don't have the free time unless you got the scoop again. Here for the gossip, rumor, and innuendo. I will live for today until the endless heaven buffet takes me away.
Ladies and gentlemen, gossips around the internet. Hey, 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 it's Kathy, your true crime friend. You guys, you're not going to believe this. Remember the other week when I was like, we need a palate cleanser, right? We need a little bit of something to take us away from all like the murder and mayhem. And I did a whole thing called Petty Crimes. Do you want to know who inspired the Petty Crime series? A little channel called Tea of the Town that's brand new here on YouTube. I had no idea they were new until just a minute ago. Please, please, please peek from out of your curtains and help me welcome Linda and Caitlin. Hi, ladies. Hi.
Hello. We're so happy to be here.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah.
Welcome to Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo.
Thank you. We're thrilled to be here, and we are very new to YouTube, but we love it here.
We love it. We love your channel. We love your content, and it's just been such an incredible community. So thank you so much for welcoming us on your show.
I'm so happy you're here. I heard about you first because I was like, we need some petty crime, like enough with everybody bonking each other on the head and stabbing each other and whatever.
Yeah.
I need something that was like slightly less homicidal. I'm a big fan of covering like all the mayhem.
Yeah.
But one of our, somebody who watches your channel was like, have you seen Tea of the Town? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm all about the tea of any situation. And I was sent, it was the one about the dyeing lady, the yarn dyeing lady.
Oh, mystical creation yarns.
Yes.
Oh, that was some good tea. That's one of the reasons we love what we're doing, because it's like there's so much seriousness in the world right now. This is the type of thing that we would talk about if we were like out at brunch together.
Yes.
And we're like, let's just do a podcast about it. We love to rabbit hole on things. There's so much seriousness in the world. It's like, let's just sit around, find some good tea to sip on, and have some fun and chat. So that's sort of our vibe, and we love a good murder mystery as well. So
we're all about that, and I think it's also really fun for us to just learn about different communities and different people who like hobbies and crafts. We're both very much into hobbies. I consider myself kind of a serial hobbyist, and so I'm always in communities as it is, and we found it to be really fascinating. We're like, let's share these stories more broadly. So I'm glad that we were able to connect.
And there's always like, it's funny because no matter what we look at, like what topic we pick, like the mystical creations yarn story, it's like humans are the same no matter where you go. There's always some drama. There's always something. It's just wild how similar all these things end up being, and like the themes. Like we just did another episode that launched yesterday, Friday, and like there's another like fake FBI thing in it. It's like, why is everyone calling the FBI? Like, what's going on?
I was listening to it this morning. So wait, to back up a little bit, for people who did not catch the first FBI yarn story. Oh wait, chat is saying Caitlin has the echo. I guess there's a little bit of an echo.
Is there an echo on?
Let's try it. Let's fix it.
Fix this. We're new to live streaming, so we apologize for the little hiccups, but bear with us.
It is fine. It is fine. While you're fixing that, I will recap for these good people the mystical creations yarn story. And that is that a lady, I'll give you the quick and dirty. A lady was dyeing yarn and everybody liked her yarn and said it was all beautiful and everything. And she got a bunch of orders, which was great. And then I don't remember what happened. She couldn't keep up with the orders or something like that.
It started with that. It started with just like she couldn't keep up with the orders. She closed her store a bunch of times. She went around to different stores and like popped up in different corners. And then it just like unraveled into this wild goose chase of her faking her own death and people calling the FBI over it. And the community that was sort of buying yarn from her just all descended on this like FBI like tip form to try to get them to investigate.
Oh my God.
And it worked. It like worked. They got enough requests that the FBI is like, well, we got to make some calls. So
it's so crazy. And then while they were investigating, from what I recall, people on Ravelry, which I'm scared of those Ravelry people. I'm one of those Ravelry people.
Yeah.
People are no joke about their crafting. They're like, she is just taking advantage of us because we are all mourning the death of Mama Monkey, who recently passed away, only to discover that Mama Monkey had also faked her own death.
Right. That was wild. We didn't cover that in our episode, but I did read about that when I was researching that episode.
Yeah.
Like, it's just wild that it happened multiple times. Like, people just out here fake dying. Like, it's nothing, you know?
It happens so often. There's a name for it called pseudocide. And I'm like, right. When you pretend that you're like okay, my gossip empire never gets so big that I start a rumor that I have actually died. And then maybe like the true crime community can investigate my fake death.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this on our episode. It's like the fake death thing is hilarious in itself, that this is a phenomenon that happens. But also, like, if Caitlin needed to fake her death, I'd be like, give me a shovel. Like, I know, we would let me spin a web. We definitely would have each other's backs in that. Like, we discussed.
So awesome.
I would not out my friend, but I guess that there was some animosity between her distributor, and so it wasn't that type of friendship. But no, I just I've been in a lot of stressful situations in my life. I've never thought like it's time to fake my death, but I'm not taking it off the table entirely, Yeah.
Can you imagine like calling into work dead? Like, listen, I cannot be here today, but I believe I may be resurrected by next Tuesday. Like, I guess you have to work for yourself to fake your own death. I don't get it, but it's really fascinating. And that wasn't even the only crafting related like drama that you got into. There was something with a star blanket, which I remember in real time that happening. And I was like, wait.
Did you really? You were there in real time?
Yes,
oh
I remember when it
so
happened.
you saw it all happen. That's wild.
So tell the good people about the star blanket drama. We've unlocked a whole new sector of true crime, crafting true crime.
Yes. So I started seeing videos about it on TikTok, actually. Some people were kind of going back and forth, and I was like, what is this? So I dug in, and essentially there is a crafter out there. Her name's Betty McNick. She puts out crochet patterns, and her whole thing is putting out patterns that you can knock out in like 6 days. So she'll have like the 6-day this, the 6-day that. And so she has a 6-day star blanket. And she posts these on her website, and they have ads.
I think your echo's still.
Oh, is my echo still?
Yeah, I'm seeing in the chat. Hold on.
Okay.
Here, take my mic. We're just gonna do one mic.
We're gonna switch mics. We're doing it. All right. How are we doing? We doing good?
You sound great.
Okay, good. So so essentially she has this pattern on her website. There's ads in between the different steps, similar to a cooking recipe. But people find it really difficult to follow because you're having to go through and, you're crocheting as you're building it out and being interrupted by ads. So then this other creator, she comes online, she takes the steps essentially that are like in between the ads. She puts it in a Google Doc. She shares it and says, hey, here's the pattern without ads. And it she gets hit with a cease and desist from Betty McNitt because essentially she's stealing her intellectual property. She's done all this work to create this pattern. And it creates this weird rift in the crafting community, because some folks on one side are saying like, hey, you are stealing somebody's pattern, you're putting it out for free, because she also has a paid version without ads. So they're
Right.
essentially like circumventing this whole system that she has set up. The other side is saying like, there's so many ads, there's like an egregious amount of ads. It's, if you have like a learning disability, it can be really difficult to follow and it feels like a tax. And also, I guess there were some issues within the pattern itself where it was, and I don't know too much about patterns, but essentially people were saying the way it was written, even without the ads, was difficult. And she had made some corrections.
Mm.
And so, yeah, it really split the community. There's people on both sides. They start like going after each other. And we just
Oh my
had no
God.
idea like how fired up people get about their patterns. It's
I
real.
And
remember
it's like a
I
real,
remember people saying like, she's being ableist. And I was like, wait, what? I didn't what I started seeing it when people were saying like, oh, don't deal with Betty McNitt because she's ableist. And I was like, does anybody have sock yarn? I just want to know if anybody has sock yarn. Like,
Well, and that's the thing is, I think, that's like a pretty major accusation to make, especially for like a small creator who's doing their best, because
yeah.
I
right,
think what we were thinking through is like, you can do your best to accommodate as many people as possible. And I think you should, wherever it's
right.
possible to make somebody's life easier, do that. But at the same time, I don't think it's possible for one single person to account for everything. So the fact that they were calling
Right.
her ableist to me didn't feel great.
Yeah. And it was like a legitimate IP issue, right? Like
Right.
that's, I'm not an IP attorney, but like it's definitely clear that her actions were not compliant. Like it was her IP. It was Betty McNitt's IP, and
Right.
it wasn't as if she took it as inspiration to make her own pattern. She literally like copied it over. So
It's wild. And then I started seeing about Fat Bear Week. Y'all.
We love Fat Bear
The
Week.
drama around
Yes.
Fat Bear Week. First of
okay,
all, who doesn't love a fat bear? I love a fat
Right?
bear.
right. That story was so fun because I discovered Fat Bear Week last year, and then I didn't really follow it closely though, so I didn't
Right?
understand how. Oh, can I?
Yep. We're
just
going to go back and forth. That's what we're going to do.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're great. You're awesome.
We're sharing now. But yeah, the Fat Bear Week situation, essentially like the drama of the bear community, the drama of the what's it called, a mall of bears, a sleuth of
Yes.
bears. It was fascinating to get into, and you can still you can go on the cams and watch the bears. And I will never ever forgive Chunk for what he did. Never.
Okay. So there was a
Ever.
brutal bear murder shortly before Fat Bear Week. And for those who might be confused, we are not talking about large, hairy gay men in
No.
Fire Island
Or
or
slow.
in P-Town. We're talking about bears in the wild. What national park was it? I don't know what national park it was.
Katmai National Park. So essentially, there's a national park in Alaska, and this story was inspired by my sister who lives in Alaska, and
Oh,
she lives up there and tells me about her life all the time. And I was looking at some stuff up there, and I found this national park that puts on this bracket competition to vote for the best fat bear. And
right.
everyone gets into it. Everyone votes for their favorite bear. There's memes galore, like people posting pictures of their favorite bears to try to get them votes. And
Oh
so
my
every
God.
year, the bears are fattening up to go into hibernation. And so they get
Right.
super chonk and adorable and cute, and they all hang out at the river together. But of course, when a bunch of bears are hanging out at the river together eating salmon, what happens? Drama. So last year, Fat Bear Week, one of the bears was unalived by another bear right before Fat Bear Week. Not great. Everyone was sad. Everyone was upset. They delayed Fat Bear Week.
Oh my God.
And then the
And
drama
this brutal murder was caught on the cameras, was it not?
on the cameras, people were watching live
Can you
camera.
imagine?
Yeah. And this is like Fat Bear Week was just getting popular where like more and more people were like super invested in it and just like loved Patches, who
Oh
was
my
the bear
God.
that got unlived, you know, live bear murder, not a good situation. And so everything's like beloved bear. And I'm going to use the word cuddly because I believe that in my soul that somewhere these grizzly bears are like just soft little cuddly squishies. I know it's not true.
Oh my God.
No, I think like it for me, what was particularly tragic was just that it was like a little baby bear and the mom's trying to save
Right.
one and then the other gets taken down. And it was just,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, a baby bear was mauled. Like a trigger warning for
right?
nature. A baby bear was
Nature is
mauled. It was a
brutal.
bad situation.
Yes.
On the cameras, live while everybody watched. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
it was crazy. And but I will give you for context for people who didn't watch the episode, this was the second incident where one of the mama bears had her two cubbies at the river. They fall down the
Yes.
falls, which is not a big deal, but they fall down the falls. One of them goes like straight into the jaws of one of these big male bears and gets mauled. And again, this was live on camera. The baby cubby did not survive, but I do have some good news to share, which is that second cubby that survived participated
Yeah.
in Fat Bear Week Junior this year and did
Get
very
out.
well and won. And it's a beautiful yearling cubby. Check out Fat
Oh
Bear
my
Week Junior this
God.
year. And so good ending. Baby cubby number 2 survived and is like living his life. So, or her life. I don't
Where
know.
do you guys find these stories? Like, okay, Fat Bear Week came from your sister who lives in Alaska, but like the Mormon underwear drama, there's all these weird little I've watched everything on your channel. Oh, I have been watching. And I was just like, wait, Hot Mormon Girl Summer with the tank top underwear, which by
Mhm.
the by, when the new garments came out, oh, I saw the drama about that on
Oh,
TikTok.
it is popping off right now. Yeah,
Mhm.
so we honestly we get our stories from a bunch of different places.
Okay.
Sometimes it'll be on. We'll see something pop up on TikTok or on Reddit.
Right.
With the Hot Mormon Summer, that one was a little bit different because we both grew up Mormon, and
Mhm.
so we still have friends and family in the community, and it was something that like we had heard about. I actually hadn't heard about like the specific design of the garments until Linda had presented it to me. But
Right.
we had a bit more context for that particular story just because we grew up in the community. We knew how hot of a topic it was going to be. And now that the new garments have been released, it is
Oh,
just people feel some kind of way about it, whether people are excited about it. A lot of the older generations are not excited about it. They find it very troublesome. But yeah, so that's where that story came from.
so
And
wait, modest is no longer hottest? Like, I have a
modest is
question.
no longer hottest. You're right. And like in the Mormon community, anything where you reveal your shoulders, it was kind of a funny thing to call them like porn shoulders because people
I
thought like we
can't.
were told when we were young, oh, it's like pornographic to show your shoulders. So no one could wear tank tops or anything. So the level of controversy of like releasing garments that have
Oh my
shoulder
God.
showing is like level 10, level 11 for a Mormon in terms of change. So it was so wild to see like the release this, I think it was just last week or the week before, and there were lines out the door for these garments because the women want them, right? Like, of course, you just want to wear a tank top. It's not a big deal. But yeah, we love these types
So
of stories.
your grandma used to wear like a cap sleeve or whatever it was, right? But now the daughters and granddaughters are out here in these streets with corn shoulders, uh, just having all their goodness and mercy out down to the meeting house. And I would imagine it. Listen, if this was my grandma, she would be like, "What in the unholiness that is happening here in the church
Yeah.
building?"
Yeah. It used to be to the point where, like, if you were going to wear something like that that was revealing your shoulders, you would get kicked out of, like, a youth activity.
Yeah.
You would straight up be asked to leave. So, it was, like, not a small part of the community. It was a huge part of, like, when we were in
Oh
the
my
church, but
gosh.
it's evolved a lot, so you can see that happening in real time. It's pretty wild.
I mean, now they have and I walk through Times Square many days of the week, right? Going when I go into the city when I'm going to work. And there's what are they? Those bad Mormon girls that are on something.
Oh, the
What are they
Secret
called?
Lives of Mormon Wives.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. They don't seem to be worried about like I mean, I guess you could wear like appropriate garments and still be swinging? I don't understand. Do you have to take the garment off to service your best friend's husband? I have so many questions. I have so many questions.
So here's another like this is kind of maybe a hot take of mine, and my perception of the community. So
Okay.
we are in California, and
Yeah.
the culture of Mormons in California and the culture of Mormons in Utah is very different. And
Oh.
I had a friend who was in Utah and we talked about this and tried to figure out like why is it that? And her theory, which I actually think might be true, is cuz Utah Mormons I have noticed are a little bit more lax on the rules. Whereas growing up I was like no shoulder showing, no drinking coffee, no dating boys before 16, like very locked down. And she said
Wow.
in Utah, Mormonism is just everywhere. And so you find other ways to differentiate yourself. Whereas in California, it's not always as prevalent. So it is the thing that
Oh,
differentiates you.
interesting.
So I find that in California, Mormons
Oh.
are much stricter. Whereas in Utah, I was like, I was not rocking two pieces when I had the best body of my life and I feel robbed. I do.
So you left the church and now they've come out with sexy clothes and
Yeah,
you're everybody is scandalized.
what's up with that? It's like we missed the boat, we missed the good times, and now we're,
Oh my
it's okay.
God.
It's okay. A lot of my family is still Mormon, and so we actually had some really interesting conversations like after we published that episode. And I was honestly a little bit nervous to publish it because I have so many family members are still very much like practicing, and I respect that very
Oh my
deeply. But
God.
it did create some like
Yeah.
interesting conversations in my family after we posted that. And that was like one of the first episodes we ever published. So
Are you uninvited from Thanksgiving now? Like,
no,
is
no,
grandma
it's not like
gonna
that
be
at
looking at you
all.
crazy?
I was worried, but no. No, we actually had some like really good conversations just about like, okay, how the church has changed,
Right?
what sort of what my experience was in the church and like what that means now as an adult and how
Right.
I process that. And we had some very healthy conversations, which was really positive.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was great. So it was really good. And like I said, I like very deeply respect people who are still practicing and in the church. Like,
Right,
I think
right.
it's very important to just respect people's beliefs and how they want to live their life and how they want to hold their standards. But it
For
was
sure.
like, for us talking about it as ex-Mormons is like, um, I don't know. There's a
It's
little bit of
out of bounds for you.
yeah, it's a
Because
little
I
out of
look,
bounds sometimes.
I grew up in a very religious family, right? And the last story that I did, we got a verdict on it last night, was about a woman who was an anger management specialist who unfortunately
I
unalived
saw
her married boyfriend who was a preacher. And so I was just like, um, all the church mothers are going to be mad at me, right? Like the church mothers are the little old ladies who sit up in the third pew and they're judging everybody. And they're just like, that skirt is not acceptable and that dress is
Mhm.
too tight. And I know you're not doing X, you're not chewing gum in the house of the Lord, like whatever it is. And I was like, I am a wholly secular person raising a wholly secular family, but I have nothing but respect for people who choose to like have other observances, whatever those might be. But don't come up here. Listen. Don't get up in my comments trying to preach me and drop me a scripture, because I'm gonna have a scripture that you really, really are not gonna enjoy. So I try to be very respectful, and other people were respectful in turn. And there's been a lot of LDS true crime, like a lot. And so we did a phone a friend with one of our LDS friends to be like, girl, how come y'all up here killing people? But she let us know. I assume you two are not murderers. I'm just asking for myself.
I'm not yet, not taking it off the table, you know. I'm just leaving my options open.
Although I
Do
will
you
say, like,
know anybody?
not that I am aware of, but you never know, right? Like,
This is true.
the best murderers are still unknown. But I think
Oh my
that
God.
the only reason that I would ever have to murder someone, and I would do it without regret, is if someone came from my family. I'm sorry, I'm a
Yes.
murderer automatically. Automatically,
Same.
I'm a murderer. So
Same. Everybody is. Everybody
yeah.
is under those
Well,
circumstances.
but the circumstance has not arisen yet. Therefore, I am still a
Right.
non-murderer, and a
Okay.
non-Mormon. So all those things. But I will
Totally
say, like,
fair.
you're so right about the sort of underbelly of the Mormon community, where there's been a lot of really gruesome true crime stories. And I think
Fascinating.
if I had to, like, do my armchair psychology about why, I think, because having been raised in the community, it's like there's something that happens when you're in, like, a high demand religion, where, like,
Mhm.
you yourself get really disconnected from your own body and feelings and emotions and moral compass, and your compass
Oh,
is
interesting.
external to you. And so if your compass is external to you and you're not connected to your own body and your own feelings, like, how easily can you be, like, influenced or swayed? How much psychological trauma are you absorbing that you have to express
Oh.
somehow? And so I'm like, that's obviously my opinion. It's not fact in any way,
No,
shape,
it
or
makes
form, but,
perfect
like,
sense.
you know?
It makes perfect sense. In
Yeah.
a way, it makes this anger management lady make a little bit more sense, right? Because the preacher told her to do X, Y, and Z. And she's like,
Mhm.
but the preacher told me I had to be naked every time I was in a hotel room. The preacher told me that I had to buy all of his cigars. And I'm just like, wait, what? I don't.
And I was listening to your story on this, which it was so crazy. And I think there's also what we see is a trend of, there's a lot of men in powerful positions in different religions, and they use that inappropriately. And I think that's very much what happened in that situation. And this woman just snapped and went crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
but it was like, it's not even the first time we've heard stories similar to that, where, like a man of God or whatever is doing some
Man
ungodly
of
things
God.
behind the
Yeah.
scenes, and then it comes out in a violent way. So yeah, no, that
That's
story was
wild.
wild.
Well, you know what's funny? Like in terms of like petty little dramas, because I feel like you guys are the queens of finding petty dramas.
We
When
love petty
my
drama.
youngest child, who just turned 18, was a baby, I don't remember if I was pregnant or if he was a newborn. Everybody was just like, cloth diapers, cloth diapers. There's like a new wave of fancy cloth diapers. And so I got into cloth diapering, which on reflection now feels like I was in a cult. But the like these women who didn't have a lot of other power in their lives became moderators on this forum called Diaper Swappers, and they went mad with power, and the drama in Diaper Swappers was
What?
crazy. And then as people got kicked out of Diaper Swappers, they started another like sub forum called the Drama of Diaper Swappers. And so the drama of Diaper Swappers was formed solely to discuss the drama that was happening on Diaper Swappers.
Oh,
And so people would go, like, they would get these little subgroups, right? Because these women would go, oh, I have this extra absorbent fiber or whatever, and so I'm making these one kind of diapers. And they had all these like silly names, right? I was a big fan of Luke's drawers. That's what I always bought, was Luke's drawers. But this one woman started making a very, very popular diaper called Good Mama. And
Good.
so they were very expensive. And there was like a new pattern every couple of months. And then people were buying like hard to find prints of Good Mamas. And they started their own subgroup. And they would be like, I'm a good mama. Are you a good mama? And so there were like the good mamas and the not good mamas. And then some sort of drama broke out among the good mama group. Like they were legit judging your parenting skills
Based
based
on the
on whether or
diapers.
not you could afford one good mama was something like $70 for
Oh
one cloth diaper.
gosh.
Okay, this is exactly the type of drama that we are like all for. Like, let's
I'm telling
dissect.
you.
Let's
I'm telling
dissect.
you.
And it's just
It's
funny.
crazy.
Yeah, I love the reason it's like so interesting to me is like you see the same behavioral patterns in all of these dramas, right? It's just
Yes.
like people,
Yes.
little tiny power dynamics. It doesn't matter how big or small the issue is, like the power dynamics, the like things getting to your head, the all of it. And I am maybe there's some dupe drama in there, like the dupes of the good mamas.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. She's made a cheater brand and her thread is not the same thread. Oh, and the good mama lady couldn't keep up with demand. So she started subcontracting out. So some of the good mama users became like seamstresses. And so they were making good mamas. But then because they had the pattern for the good mamas, they were like doing other stuff on the
Oh,
side. And then people sort of divided up into like who's really green and who's not. So like I ended up giving up using cloth diapers, but I really liked cloth napkins. In fact, my family still uses cloth napkins and I sew. And a cloth napkin is a square of fabric sewn into a square. It's not hard. So they were like, oh, well, she only uses cloth napkins. She's not using reusable menstrual products or moon cups. I am a moon cup girl. She might use good mamas, but she's not a moon cup or a diva cup or
oh
a
my
whatever.
gosh.
It was crazy. And then the people who got into family cloth, which I was like, what is family cloth? In lieu of toilet paper is all I'm gonna say. So
Oh no. Oh no.
it, it
I try to be eco-conscious where I can, but I think we all have our limits, and I think that might be mine. No, that
yeah,
is wild. I mean,
it was wild.
it kind of makes me think of one of the stories that we did actually was around Lashify, and I feel like it has a lot of the similar trends.
Oh,
So
the eyelashes.
basically,
Yeah.
yes. So they're like eyelash clusters, they're DIY lash extensions,
Yes.
very
Yes.
popular product. And there's a group where people go to like learn from other women, different application techniques, different lash
Okay.
mappings, things like that.
Okay.
And a similar thing popped up where basically there was this side group where people could trade lashes that they had purchased because these lash clusters aren't cheap. And so if they bought one and they're like, this is too long, or I don't like this color, then they could go to this group and sell it. Well, one person, one day, and I was there for this, uh, posted like a dupe of the Lashify glue and was like, "Has anybody tried this? I think it's working better for me." And that is
Oh.
all it took to kind of set these two groups on fire. Where like, and I'm in both groups, and I'm watching like the girls in the Lashify group being like, they're so like, this is pathetic. They're just using dupes. They're using knockoffs. It's not as good. I'm seeing the girls in the other group being like, this is a little culty. This is a little culty and a little weird for me. So in that like kind of started it with this whole dupe thing. And the CEO of Lashify, she's very protective over her IP, which it's fine.
Okay.
But then it made it out the group chat when one day Bethany Frankel from Real Housewives of New York, she had been posting this series of like trying different lash products, and she finds this lash product called Pro Lash that she tries, and she goes, "Oh, this is amazing. I love it so much." CEO
Okay.
of Lashify, Sahara Lottie, DMs her and is like, "You've just involved yourself in a legal mess because I'm in a lawsuit with them." And Bethany Frankel is not one to be messed with. So she comes back, she's like, "You're going to threaten me? You're going to threaten me. And
Oh my God.
it just blew up across the board. And then all this stuff starts coming out about, and it's all over lashes, which trust and believe, like I take my lashes very seriously. Like I'm a lash girl myself. So I do get it. But at the same time, I was like, it's a bit much. It's a bit much.
That's 100 kinds of crazy. I mean, okay. Bethany Frankel mentions, she didn't say like, you got to buy this one is better than that other lady, her thing is terrible, the one I found is great. She just said, I like this thing.
Yes. She wasn't putting down Lashify. She was literally just saying, I tried this. I liked it. It worked for me. And then, yeah, she gets this very spicy DM from Sahara. And it just, I mean, I think there were so many missteps along the way from the CEO where she could have used it as an opportunity to be like, I'd love to send
Right.
you my kit. I want you to try it out. I see you're doing this thing.
Yes.
Let me help you. And then use it as a branding opportunity. And
Oh
instead,
my God.
she like low key legally threatens her. And I'm just
Oh,
like, that was, yeah. But she's the thing that I learned also in my investigation of Sahara is she's a spicy girl. She does not hold back. And I went so far as because I'm trying to like, get a good understanding of who she is, how she operates. So I go to
right, right.
the company Glassdoor and find that she is just terrorizing her employees. She's asking them like, yeah, there were people saying like, it is a normal thing to take a cry break. Like they're saying like she yells at us in front of people. She asks us to take her to the dentist and to bleach her hair and to watch her dog and do all these things. And yeah, so I was just like, the further I went down the rabbit hole, the further I was
Oh my
like,
God.
I think she might need like a little bit of therapy, like a little bit,
That's crazy. That's crazy. My mind, like I thought the diaper thing was crazy. The lashes is so next level. It's so
Next
next
level.
level.
It's
And it's so personal. Like what works for my eyes might not work for your eyes. Like,
but it's the same, it's like the same exact dynamic in both
yeah,
things.
for sure.
Right? It's totally the same like power dynamics. It's all about,
Right.
just like you're superior because of like some arbitrary product that you use. It's like I don't
Mhm.
know. This is what humans do. And this is why it's always fascinating. We're always up to some drama. We're always up to some
That's
drama.
crazy. Now, I am a big book reader, but I had never heard of book talk
Oh my gosh.
until I watched your video on the Fire Festival of Book
Mhm.
Talk.
A Million
Tell
Lives
the
Book
good people
Festival.
about the madness. That was book talk or book
That
what was it
was
called? What was
So
the
it was
thing called?
called A Million Lives Book Festival. That was a wild one. So it was basically the equivalent of Fire Festival for Book Talk. It was a very poorly run book festival that
Okay.
scammed a bunch of authors. And essentially it's just like one person, this person, Grace Willows, who put on this event, but just was completely unprepared to do anything or deliver on any promises. And it was just an absolute disaster every step of the way. And it culminated in this, what was supposed to be this like fantasy lavender ball where you get dressed up in ball gowns and you go and enjoy this fantasy ball. It was literally these people who were dressed up going into
Right.
like a concrete basement of a convention center with nothing but like some tables and chairs and like 50 rose petals spread across the tables. These poor people, it was so horrible. And it was just a crazy like every single thing about the event was of that caliber. Like there were no chairs for any of like the panelists to sit on when they were doing panels. Just
Right. I saw people sitting on a floor in a circle
it
doing a
was
panel.
It was just like nothing was there, nothing was prepared. And, you have these authors who had paid money to fly their books out, fly their tabletop decorations out in hopes that, with the promise that they're going to have an audience of hundreds and hundreds of book lovers and there were like 40 people there. It was just, yeah, horrible.
So instead of somebody in the comments was saying book talk or book talk, book TOK, like TikTok for books.
Yes.
Only, and something about you can live 1,000 lives by reading books.
Yes, that was the theme.
Lives.
It was called A Million Lives Book Festival because there's a saying that, you know, when you read books, you lead a million lives because you are immersed in these different worlds. So like conceptually, it sounded interesting for people to be like, oh yeah, a book festival. And there's a lot of other book festivals that are really big and cool and well run. And so, you know, authors attend
That wasn't one of them.
Yeah, authors attend these regularly and had these expectations that were just normal expectations for what they would get. And it was like an absolute disaster end to end. Nothing was right. And the craziest thing about this story is the lies that Grace told throughout the whole event. Like they were ridiculous. They were bad lies. It was like one of my favorites. It's not favorite as in it's good, but like it's so dumb. Like she said that on the Discord for the event, she's like, oh my gosh, our DJ has been taken to the hospital and the company that I booked through can't send anyone else. And so they had no DJ. And so the security guard at the event took pity on them the last day and brought his own speaker from home and put it on a chair, and that was their DJ. And they named him Speaker Steve because and it's just like a crazy lie. Like, why would you lie? Like you clearly just don't have the money or didn't have the forethought to hire a DJ. So you're just gonna lie. It's just wild.
It's 100 kinds of crazy. It's 100 kinds of crazy that I probably enjoy a little bit too much. I don't want to like root for somebody's downfall, but when it's just so messy and so public, I'm like, oh, what ridiculous thing happened next? What happened next? A friend of mine got scammed because she was following this actually this also happened to a cousin of mine. She was following some like online influencer and she's like, oh, they're having a conference and I'm going to go to this conference, but I have to pay all this money. And I was like, okay, so what are you getting for your money? And I said, do you want me to do a complete background check? Because, honey, it's not a woman alive who's not half an FBI agent. I was like, I have Chat GPT and I'm not afraid to use it. I will let my Google fingers do the walking. And so I'm researching all. She's like, okay, so this influencer says she has a TV show that's coming out on ABC and she's filming seasons now. And so we have to pay X number of dollars so we can be on her TV show. And I was like, that's not a thing. And she was just like, no. So for $80, I was like, that is not a thing. First of all, who's going to Legacy Media? Why wouldn't she just have a YouTube channel? And she's like, no, she made a sizzle reel. She showed us the sizzle reel. And I was like, she's like, she has a professional set. And I was like, okay. I'm sitting in my dining room that I turned into my office, and my dining room looked better than her professional set for ABC. And as a shock to absolutely no one, this show on ABC never came out. Oh, can you imagine? It never came out. But she got all these people to pay money and go to this party in like the Carolinas to launch her channel. I was like, why isn't the network paying for it if she's having a launch party? And why is she having a launch party in North Carolina? Not that North Carolina isn't great, but like not LA, not New York, a Radisson in North Carolina. Girl.
It's so crazy to me because I think I feel like I am personally a pretty skeptical person. And so these are the kind of questions when things come up where I'm like, well, this doesn't make sense and this doesn't make sense. And so it kind of always blows my mind where I'm like, when people aren't asking these little questions. But then again, when I was in first grade, I was really obsessed with the Spice Girls. And this one girl convinced me that if I gave her my Spice Girl Barbie, that she had a token that would make me the next baby Spice. And I took her up on that deal. And I think it was a really good learning lesson for me. And I've been skeptical ever since. So, you know, I do have that benefit.
You're not the next You're not the next Baby Spice?
Not
And
yet. I mean,
then
there's still time. There's still time, but I am slowly giving up hope.
Look, you are the baby spice of my heart. So, you know. Also, I like the everyone is an FBI agent, 100%. Like
yes,
so when I
yes.
was dating, I am locked in, happily married at this point in my life. But when I was dating, I 100% ran a background check on every single person I went on a date with. I'm not even kidding you. Like you were filling out a form, you weren't filling out a form, but I was gathering enough information about a background check on you. You best believe. And there's definitely been times
Absolutely.
where we've been in situations where we're like, we're doing the research. There was one time when a friend of ours was having like an issue. I don't know if you remember this. And we were trying to do some research, and I was just like, just give me the name. And she had a first name and a phone number. In 5 minutes, I had the dude's salary. I knew where he worked.
Yes.
I had his mom's Facebook on lock. Yeah, it's inside of all of us, every one of us.
I love it so much. And you have to. You look, when I was dating, I've been with my husband for 24 years, right? So this is before the internet was around, but you could just like look at pictures of things and then you had to pick up your landline and call to get things done. But I was like, I can go low tech because this was the thing. I was like, okay, I'm in my 20s, right? I was getting to be my late 20s by that point, and I was just like, okay, so I know that I want to have more babies. I want my babies to have good teeth and good eyes because I had many years of braces and I have terrible vision. So I was like, "Oh, your teeth are so pretty. Did you ever wear braces?" And I got a complete medical history by asking him, did he ever wear braces? Really? When you were a kid, did you have a lot of cavities? Oh, I used to hate the dentist. I asked if there was a history of twins in his family, a history of insanity. I found out who in his family had high blood pressure, who, like all the things. I,
Mhm.
I ran a complete medical breakdown, like twirling my hair. That's back when I used to have twirling my hair and being cutesy, like, "Oh, do you wear contacts? Your eyes are so gorgeous. Oh my." I don't want babies that wear glasses. P.S. All my kids wear glasses. But it's like, I tried. I
I
tried the Maslow, that little square, the Maslow's chart where you're like, okay, if I
Yes.
have glasses and he has glasses, what are the likelihood that my kids will let me carry the four? Like I had to figure it out.
Oh, no, I love that so much. I am in the more recent dating world. And so when I
Mhm.
was, on the apps and getting ready to go on dates, and it's scary. It's really scary. I mean, there's some
Yes.
crazy people out there. So I also would do my due diligence. And I would, again, all I needed was like a name, a city or where you worked or something. And I'd be going on these dates being like, I found your Facebook. I found your mom, your
Yes.
aunt, your best friend, your
Yes.
like first grade teacher. And I'd be pretending like, tell me about yourself as if I didn't know everything about themselves at that moment. So, but you have to do your due diligence. It's really, really scary.
yeah.
Makes you a human lie detector. You already know, and when
Yeah.
you ask the questions,
I
you
think
already know.
exactly. And I think that's like one of the things that I think is really interesting about like the topic of gossip generally. I
Mm,
think there's this like negative connotation around gossip, just like, oh, don't gossip, whatever, especially if you grew up in like a hyper moral kind of environment. But
right.
like the reality is we've like evolved to gossip. Like that's how we share information and share, which
Yes.
is sometimes connected to safety, sometimes connected to
Mhm.
just like knowledge sharing. And so
Yes.
to me, I'm like, it's something to lean into, like lean into that. Like there's a reason why we all get joy out of it. There's a reason why we all think it's like
Yes.
interesting. So, I just think that, regardless of like what the I don't know if it's a perception, but just like a perception of what gossip is. To me, it's like good. Yes, gossip. It's how we
Gossip is
share.
good.
It's how we share details. It's how we share knowledge. It's how we share it in joy also. So like, do it. That's why we
Absolutely.
love it.
A big part of what I do is like, I mean, obviously I like true crime, right? I've liked true crime since forever and ever. But I wanted to engage in true crime in a way that wouldn't cause me to need therapy and wouldn't cause other people to need therapy. That's number one. Number two, it's a way to get the news. I'm not the news, but I watch 8 hours of trial so you don't have to. And then I can tell you, like, girl, now what I heard was, and I'm not saying anything I'm not saying anything on my channel that I wouldn't say to that person's face. And people who know me in real life know that I tend to be a little bit bold, just a little bit. So I will ask the unpopular question. I'm just like, so I'm curious about this thing. And my sister asked questions that would make me blush. I'm just like, girl. But if I have a story where to protect the innocent and the guilty, but I really, really, really need to talk about it because it's funny, it's crazy, it's good information. I have a second channel called Confessions of a Neighborhood Gossip, where I lightly fictionalize something that happened in my real life and I tell you the tea. I change people's names. If it happened to my aunt, I might say it happened to my uncle. You know what I mean? And then for the paid members, I just tell them the straight scoop of actually what happened. Y'all, so fun. So fun.
That's so
But
good.
I'm not tearing anybody down. Here's 12 terrible things I heard about this person. It's all just like funny stuff. Like the relative who had their beloved spouse have an accident at home and 911 was like, could you give CPR? And he was like, oh no, thank you. I didn't know that was an option. I didn't know that was an optional answer. He was like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. I will wait on you guys to show up. And his spouse died.
No.
Girl,
That is
the scream I
crazy.
scrumped. I get the best stories like that. That is a true story that I heard last Thanksgiving. Right, like around the holiday times, after I've spent time with either my side of the family or the in-laws, the number of stories I come away with, I'm like, and this one turns out the
Mhm.
baby's daddy is not her husband, it's the next door neighbor. You don't
That
even
is
know.
no,
You don't even know.
I love it, and I feel like that's the thing. So there, I kind of see sharing tea gossip as like a two-sided thing. So one, I genuinely think it's a way to really connect with other people where you're just like, oh,
For
I heard this
sure.
thing, girl, I gotta tell you. And I think there's something about that. But actually, another thing that I had learned in one of my like women's history classes way back in the day is that in the like early American society when religion was really popping off, like, and women were definitely seen as second class citizens. Gossip was a way that they could have some sort of power, have some sort of control. And that's actually when churches started saying, like, oh, you shouldn't gossip, it's ungodly, because they recognized that they were creating this community where they were sharing information, they were telling each other who to look out
Interesting.
for, what was going on. And so, there's still in a lot of religions today, they'll talk about like why gossip isn't good. And it has its roots in this, where it was a way for women to find some sort of power in
Oh,
a
wow.
powerless
And build
society.
community. And
Yeah,
build
exactly.
community.
And I
That's
think
so wild.
it is, and I feel like um there's we've talked about this a little bit, the aspect of safety that you get out of the types of stories that you tell, even the types of stories that we tell. How do you avoid being scammed? uh Pick up the signals from the tea we're about to spill, or how do you avoid being
Mhm.
unalived? Same thing. I think it's like
Yes.
there's an element of like you're gaining knowledge through this thing that we're all doing, and community at the same time, and those are both very positive things. So you know should be
We are out
celebrated.
here
We love
saving
it.
lives. We are out here
Exactly.
saving lives. I have been
Yeah.
keeping like one eyeball on chat, and I know there's some starred chats that I want to acknowledge before we run too late here. Let's see. Chloe S is a new member. Chloe, welcome to the back room. Girl, Gergeloins. We talk about things over in the member spaces every day, every morning, and most nights. If I'm not tired, I drop a member video. It's a mess. Kathy Donnelly became a new YouTube member. Thank you, and welcome. Carla Maria, 1982. Welcome, welcome. BB Lee, R.I.P. R.I.P. the Fat Bears. Oh my goodness. BB Lee 333. Yes. R.I.P. those Fat Bears. See, maybe Megan, maybe not, has been a member for 12 months. Religions, Crunchy Lashes and Books. Yes. And of course, Mrs. Parks is in the house. Mrs. Parks is always in the house. We love her so much. She says, love this collab. Kathy has coined the phrase, every woman is half an FBI agent. So true. It's
That
only
is
because
true.
every woman is half an FBI agent. Mrs. Parks has also been a member for 26 months. And she says, don't forget to hit the like button, gossip friends. Yes, don't forget to hit the like button. Wait. Real Talk Bougie is in the house. We love Francoise of Real Talk Bougie, who I have to have on here so soon. Love you, Fran. Good afternoon. And then I did drop 5 Gossip Rumor and Innuendo memberships for people who want to join us over in the back room. We are down to our last few minutes here, but I want to make sure that everybody knows where to find you, beautiful pink ladies. You are Talk of the Town on YouTube. Let's get these ladies to 1,000 subscribers so they can start making some coin off this
Yes, thank
channel.
you.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Go ahead.
We're at Tea of the Town show. So if you look us up there, we're hanging out. We've been on YouTube for 7 weeks. 7 weeks, and we love it here. We really want to keep going. So yeah, would love to
The
see you over there.
community here is awesome. So awesome. So I know how to do YouTube because other YouTubers taught me how to do YouTube. Real Talk Bougie, my good sis Francoise, who is also a Bergen County girl, has saved my behind on live stream. She's like, okay, don't panic. The sound is not coming through. Open it up in Chrome. Do this, do that. Brandy Churchwell shouted me out. Like all of these other, Tanika of the 2 Cents fame. Tanika is late in the bushes. Tanika of Tanika's 2 Cents, who is just so dear to my heart. Her and those adorable little babies. She's also a mod for me. Like there are so many amazing YouTubers who have just helped me and guided me in this craziness that is YouTube. And it's such a wonderful thing. Before I forget to ask, why do you girls wear pink?
Oh, I think it's just because we love pink and we want to be cozy and
Yeah, same. It's just like a kind of a vibe for us because I think being like hyper feminine sometimes is like frowned upon, and it's a
Yeah.
rebellion against that. And also, we love pink, so why not? You know?
Your
and
whole
also
set is pink. Do you have a
yeah,
whole pink house?
we are
What's
big
happening?
fans. And I also wanted to say thank you so much, Kathy, for having us on. And you also were helping us, showing us the ropes because this was our first live stream. Clearly, things didn't go exactly how we had planned, but you were a lifesaver, and we can't thank you enough.
You guys have done awesome. You've done great. And you were like setting I was like, okay, it's gonna be on live stream. You're like, we got it. We're gonna get this all set up. And I was like, look at these girls. They have got
We
their
figured
act
it
right
out.
fully installed. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We seriously, your help, your support. We love your channel. We're huge fans
Aw.
of you and your channel and your content. And thank you for, welcoming us into the YouTube community. We love you.
Well, you are my go-to spot for when I'm like, I want to hear somebody's mess, right? I used to love
Mhm.
watching The Real Housewives, and I was like, I want to know the drama, but I don't want to be personally involved in the drama. And you find all these petty little micro beefs that are not about anything major. It's about yarn, it's about bird watching and Fat Bear Week. Nobody is harmed except for possibly some bears periodically and from time to time. And the FBI has probably set up a whole yarn division on the strength of crazy crafters calling them, but I would not know about it if it were not for you lovely ladies.
Thank you. Thank you. We're so glad that you're enjoying our content. We're just so happy to be here, and we hope to keep going and keep sharing these incredible, fun, crazy, wild stories.
I'm sure that you will. Wait, I've had some more. Who was this? Sherry K 89 says pink is my favorite color. When I first saw your set, I was like, they have a whole pink set.
Yeah, this is actually my office. So I painted my office pink because, you know, I work a boring. It's not boring if my boss is watching. Hopefully not. But like, I work I work from home, and I'm like, I need to bring some joy into this room. So we set up a set here, and we love it. And it's just like, this is our vibe.
Your pink. You have a whole pink wardrobe, the two of you. Like, was that accidental? Did you have to buy it? How did that happen?
Well, we've got different, pastels and stuff, but we also just naturally like pink. So I already had some pink stuff. Linda had some pink stuff, and we're like, yeah, let's just rock the pink. Let's go for it,
It's amazing. Linda, I think one day you had on, I think it was from Gap. Like, it was a white shirt with the pink toile all over.
Yes.
I was immediately Googling. I was like, hey girl, hey, where did you get this sweater?
I love that set. And there's a blue set as well that's very similar.
Oh, I know. I saw it.
Yeah.
I may or may not have ordered it from the Gap outlet store. I'm just saying.
Highly recommend.
I'm just saying. Wait, before we're out the door, BB Lee 333 dropped a super sticker of $19.99. Thank you so much. You guys, this has been amazing, amazing, amazing. I look forward to more petty stories about micro beefs around the internet where nobody gets injured except for periodically and from time to time, bears are going to bear. And they may consume each other, but your channel is educational, it's fun, it's silly, it's light, and you're a light on the internet, and I'm so grateful that you're here.
Thank you so much.
Hang on, ladies. Let's see if I can find the outro button. Here we go.
Dear true crime friends, we clutch our pearls and laugh again. We all gather around, Kathy has a story to tell, our favorite comedian. Heifer, please, I don't have the free time unless you got the scoop again. Here for the gossip, rumor, and innuendo. I will live for today until the endless heaven buffet takes me away. Hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 hey. The world is filled with chaos muppets that like people to kick the bucket from Idaho, Iowa, and everywhere in between. Heifer, please, boncation in the first degree. Heifer, please, come solve the case with me. Here for the gossip, rumor, and innuendo. I will live for today until the endless heaven buffet takes me away. Yeah.
Come here, not Spike. Come here, bye, not Spike.